younger me would never in his life ever have dreamed that this would be like something. Oh my God, this is probably the only question that's going to make me emotional the whole day. Just younger me would never have ever dreamed that this is something that would have been possible. Didn't think it would ever be a reality. Like younger me would never have thought of like coming out to my dad. I would never have imagined that I'd be in a position where I might no longer have my dad. And I would never have imagined myself being, well, I knew I was going to be famous because I kept saying that to myself over and over. But I didn't think I'd be doing stuff like this. So I think if younger me and me were sat in a room and I was like, we've just done a documentary with my dad about his cancer and like you've came out to him and everything, I probably wouldn't believe him. I'd be like, I think you're lying. So I'm glad that I've actually managed to do something. I think mentally, I kind of checked out. I've kind of, it's like not disassociation. What am I trying to the right way? Like an out of body experience kind of thing. It was like mentally, I am a very emotional person. I lead with emotion, and like I normally let that be the forefront. So my reactions are normally emotional. I think in the moment when my dad told me, that kind of went out the window, and I became very logical, and I was very rational with what I was saying. I was like, just because like, the biopsy hasn't come back yet, so let's not. There's no point everyone being erratic and hysterical now, because that's not going to help anyone. It's not going to help you. It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to calm my brother's nerves. It's not going to settle my stepmom's nerves. So I think in that sense, I was just, the only sense was to be logical about it. And I was like, which, when I've talked to my dad about it, I didn't want him to think that I was coming across heartless, because obviously I know he told me he'd had cancer, but then I wasn't like on the phone going, oh, are you okay, this and the other. My questions were more, have you had a diagnosis yet? Have you had a biopsy? How long is, like, my questions were like more things, like he was kind of, I think, caught him off guard. I was like, how long is it till you get the biopsy results? You don't know what form of cancer you have. There is also so many medications now that it could be any form of treatment. Do not think the worst, because if you're positive about it, it's going to change your whole outlook on like, and I was like, it has shocked me how I reacted, because you do think sometimes in your head, if your partner or your parents or whatever was to tell you they had cancer, you think your reaction would be that, oh my God, and start crying. But in that moment, unless you've been in that moment, it's a reaction, like it's kind of how you instinctively reacted. And that's exactly what I did do. In that sense, I was like, I can sense by the tone of my dad's voice on the phone, he doesn't need someone that's erratic right now. He doesn't need me crying on the phone saying, oh my God, you've been given a death sentence, blah, 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 blah. He needs someone to be asking him questions and be direct with him. And I think I might have been a bit too direct, if I'm being honest, but I'm glad that I had that reaction though, because I got the answers out of him that I needed in that moment. We've not been given a time frame. We've just been told the medication at the minute is working, so we literally at the minute are living on a 6-month basis. So every 6 months he gets a scan, and then 3 weeks later we get the results, and then we go from that. So like in between them 6 months, we're doing everything we can together. Like he's living his best life. We've just done this whole show together, and he's loved every moment. And I think that's probably the one thing we have taken from this, is like, when you don't know how much time there is, it's like you just give everything your all, because what else have you got to do, I guess. And obviously it is scary, I'm not gonna lie, it is scary not knowing, but again, there's no point being hysterical, and there's no point being like crying all the time or like being sad about it, because what is that going to do for my dad? It's not going to, or what's it going to do in any situation? Obviously they are natural. I don't want anyone watching this thinking, oh, I feel bad for crying and I feel bad for being hysterical. That is your emotion. You are very much entitled to that. But in my circumstance, it's not helping. So it's not something I've got to be strong and I've got to be there for people. I have experienced homophobia, and I was thinking in my head, oh God, we're going to go to Jamaica, and obviously I want it to be a nice time, but I really don't want to go there and be panicking about receiving homophobia where I bring my dad, because that's the last thing I want on his mind when he's trying to like go around and talk about, find out where he's from and stuff like that, and then he's got to worry about my safety. I was just like, am I making the right decision here? And I was just like, do you know, the third time was definitely the charm. We went there, and every single person we met was so friendly. Everyone was so nice. Everyone was so welcoming. And like, even I met people over there that were part of the queer community, and they shared their story with me. And it was just like, it was so nice to be just embraced by a culture that I didn't know. Obviously I know I'm half Jamaican, I know my dad's Jamaican, but it was just nice to be fully immersed and embraced by a culture that I have not been overexposed to. And just to see how warm and welcoming they were with both me and my dad was absolutely loving. Out of the whole thing and everyone I met during this process, just doing the show alone has been the best form of therapy, because I have overexposed myself to cancer. I've overexposed myself to people that are living with it, people that have died with it, people that are going through it. And it's like, it's gone from being something I couldn't talk about or couldn't think about to now being all I've talked about and all I think about. It's like, it's completely desensitized it, and now I'm able to help other people, and I'm now to be able to be present and be there for myself and my dad and actually sit and have a conversation. Like, if we did this show and I was still in the mindset I was prior to it, I probably wouldn't have got through a whole day of doing interviews. I would have cried every single time. He went, how are you? How was your dad? I would have been like, oh my God. I've not. I've been fine all day. And I'm like, I think that in itself is an amazing thing. When my dad cried, that's when I was like, I'm like, he's not done TV before, and the first TV show he's going to do, he's crying, and I've never seen him cry. I'm like, am I doing the right thing here? But then at the same time, I was also thinking, because afterwards I asked him if he wanted to stop, and he was like, no, I want to do this to help people. So I was like, he is as much in this as I am, and he wants to help people. So I was like, I have no right now to stop this. Like, it's he's got cancer. He wants to share his story. So I was just like, there's no going back. And I think from there, it was just like, I was like, God, everyone's going to see this. This is good. But then also when I talked on Geordie's show about my dad's diagnosis on the series, not what we've just filmed, the film before, when that clip went out on TikTok, the amount of messages I got and the feedback I got offline was like, so many people, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing, this, and that. And I think that in itself just kept me going, because I was like, there are so many people going through this that if I've got a platform to talk about it and create awareness, why am I not using it to that advantage? And I think doing that, seeing how like vulnerable my dad was going to be, it was just like, it's a no-brainer to like just give this my all. And then, because the more I put into it, the more people are going to get out of it. Like, this is the gateway into things. Like, I'm not saying I want to leave Geordie Shore, I'm never going to do it again. But I 100% want to do more stuff like this, more documentaries. I want to meet more people. Like, the people we made the documentary with, I have put forward to them 3 or 4 ideas of things that I think realistically only I could do, because it would come from my point of view. So I'm not going to speak on what them ideas are, because I don't want anyone to steal them. But I'm hoping that they get put into fruition and stuff like that. I've been saying this all day, so we're manifesting. We are manifesting here. And I just think it's like, I don't know. I'm not scared to ask people questions. I'm not scared to go like to the depths that people wouldn't go. I think I've just done that with this documentary. So I think this is 100%, I think, the new career move that I want to make is documentaries, or presenting documentaries.